So I just heard that they broke into the office of one of my personal attorneys, good man, and it's a disgraceful situation. It's a total witch hunt. I've been saying it for a long time. I've wanted to keep it down. We've given, I believe, over 1 million pages worth of documents to the special counsel. They continue to just go forward, and here we are talking about Syria. We're talking about a lot of serious things with the greatest fighting force ever. And I have this witch hunt constantly going on for over 12 months now. And actually much more than that. You could say it was right after I won the nomination it started.
The Senior Executive Service is a position classification in the civil service of the United States federal government, somewhat analogous to general officer or flag officer ranks in the U.S. Armed Forces. It was created in 1979 when the Civil Service Reform Act of 1978 went into effect under President Jimmy Carter. Origin and attributes. From the Office of Personnel Management, the Senior Executive Service consists of the men and women charged with leading the continuing transformation of government. These leaders possess well-honed executive skills and share a broad perspective of government and a public service commitment which is grounded in the Constitution. The keystone of the Civil Service Reform Act of 1978, the SES was designed to be a corps of executives selected for their leadership qualifications. Members of the SES serve in the key positions just below the top presidential appointees. For protocol purposes, SES positions correspond to flag officers in the military. In general, SES members are the major link between the presidential appointees and the rest of the federal workforce. At the executive level, they operate and oversee nearly every government activity in approximately 75 federal agencies. The Office of Personnel Management manages the overall Federal Executive Personnel Program. OPM staff provides the day-to-day oversight of and assistance to agencies as they develop, select, and manage their federal executives. Career members of the SES ranks are eligible for the Presidential Rank Awards program. Members of the Senior Executive Service are represented by the Senior Executives Association. The Senior Executive Service was composed of non-presidentially appointed officials above the GS-15 level of the General Personnel Schedule and below Level 3 of the Executive Schedule. Senior-level employees of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Central Intelligence Agency, Defense Intelligence Agency, National Security Agency, Transportation Security Administration, Federal Aviation Administration, Government Accountability Office, members of the Foreign Service and government corporations are exempt from the SES. Pay rates. Unlike the general schedule grades, SES pay is determined at agency discretion within certain parameters, and there is no locality pay adjustment. The minimum pay level for the SES is set at 120% of the basic pay for GS-15 Step 1 employees. The maximum pay level depends on whether or not the employing agency has a certified SES performance appraisal system. If the agency has a certified system, the maximum pay is set at Level 2 of the Executive Schedule. If the agency does not have a certified system, the maximum pay is set at Level 3 of the Executive Schedule. Total aggregate pay is limited to the salary of the Vice President of the United States. References. External links. Official website, Senior Executive Service at the Wayback Machine.
And it's a disgrace. It's frankly a real disgrace. It's an attack on our country in a true sense. It's an attack on what we all stand for. So when I saw this and when I heard it like you did, I said that is really now in a whole new level of unfairness. So this has been going on. I saw one of the reporters who is not necessarily a fan of mine, not necessarily very good to me. He said in effect that this is ridiculous. This is now getting ridiculous. They found no collusion whatsoever with Russia. The reason they found it is there was no collusion at all. No collusion. This is the most biased group of people. These people have the biggest conflicts of interest I've ever seen. Democrats, all, or just about all, either Democrats or a couple of Republicans that worked for President Obama. They're not looking at the other side. They're not looking at the Hillary Clinton horrible things that she did and all of the crimes that were committed. They're not looking at all of the things that happened that everybody is very angry about, I can tell you, from the Republican side, and I think even the independent side. They only keep looking at us. So they find no collusion, and then they go from there and they say, well, let's keep going. And they raid an office of a personal attorney early in the morning. And I think it's a disgrace. So we'll be talking about it more. But this is the most conflicted group of people I've ever seen. The Attorney General made a terrible mistake when he did this and when he recused himself, or he should have certainly let us know if he was going to recuse himself, and we would have put a different Attorney General in. So he made what I consider to be a very terrible mistake for the country. But you'll figure that out. All I can say is, after looking for a long period of time, not even before the special counsel, because it really started just about from the time I won the nomination. And you look at what took place and what happened, and it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. I've been president now for what seems like a lengthy period of time. We've done a fantastic job. We've beaten ISIS. We have just about 100% of the caliphate or the land. Our economy is incredible. The stock market dropped a lot today as soon as they heard the noise of, this nonsense that's going on. It dropped a lot. It was up, way up, and then it dropped quite a bit at the end, a lot. But that we have to go through that. We've had that hanging over us now from the very, very beginning. And yet the other side, they don't even bother looking. And the other side is where there are crimes, and those crimes are obvious. Lies under oath all over the place. Emails that are knocked out, that are acid washed and deleted. Nobody's ever seen. 33,000 emails are deleted after getting a subpoena for Congress, and nobody bothers looking at that. And many, many other things. So I just think it's a disgrace that a thing like this can happen.
The useful idiots, the leftists who are idealistically believing in the beauty of Soviet socialist or communist or whatever system.
Why is it so quiet?
Hey, this is Midge and Aiden for Fleck of Stocks.
So what are you doing here today, Dalton?
I believe we have to amend the amendment.
I think we need to repeal the Second Amendment. I don't think that it's necessary. Other countries don't have it. It has nothing to do with good gun stuff. It was outdated.
I think the Second Amendment needs to be rewritten.
How would you, yeah, it's interesting. So how would you rewrite it if you got to?
I don't know yet. I haven't really thought of it.
You have the right to bear a musket.
And guns?
A musket.
Why just a musket?
That's what the Founding Fathers intended. They didn't know from machine guns. They didn't know from AK whatever.
But the machine gun existed 7 years before the Second Amendment was written.
So here's the deal. Weapons of war don't belong on our streets. End of story.
When they get disillusioned, they become the worst enemies. That's why my KGB instructors specifically made the point, never bother with leftists. Forget about these political prostitutes. Aim higher. This was my instruction. Try to get into large circulation, established conservative media. Reach, filthy rich movie makers, intellectuals, so-called academic circles. Cynical, egocentric people who can look into your eyes with angelic expression and tell you a lie. These are the most recruitable people, people who lack moral principles, who are either too greedy or too suffer from self-importance. They feel that they matter a lot. These are the people who KGB wanted very much to recruit.
But to eliminate the others, to execute the others, don't they serve some purpose? Wouldn't they be the ones we rely on?
They serve purpose only at the stage of destabilization of a nation. For example, your leftists in United States, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation. When their job is completed, they are not needed anymore. They know too much. Some of them, when they get disillusioned, when they see that Marxist-Leninists come to power, obviously they get offended. They think that they will come to power. That will never happen, of course. They will be lined up against the wall and shot. But they may turn into the most bitter enemies of Marxist-Leninists when they come to power. And that's what happened in Nicaragua. You remember most of these former Marxist-Leninists were either put to prison or one of them split, and now he's working against Sandinistas. It happened in Grenada when Maurice Bishop was already a Marxist. He was executed by a new Marxist who was more Marxist than this Marxist. Same happened in Afghanistan when first there was Taraki, he was killed by Amin, then Amin was killed by Babrak Karmal with the help of KGB. Same happened in Bangladesh when Mujibur Rahman, very pro-Soviet leftist, was assassinated by his own Marxist-Leninist military comrades. It's the same pattern everywhere. The moment they serve their purpose, all the useful idiots are used to either be executed entirely, all the idealistically minded Marxists, or exiled or put in prisons like in Cuba.
With all of that being said, we are here to discuss Syria tonight. We're the greatest fighting force anywhere in the world. These gentlemen and ladies are incredible people, incredible talent, and we're making a decision as to what we do with respect to the horrible attack that was made near Damascus, and it will be met, and it will be met forcefully. And when, I will not say, because I don't like talking about timing, but we are developing the greatest force that we've ever had at $700 billion just approved, which was the reason I went along with that budget, because we had to fix our military. General Mattis would tell you that above anybody. We had to fix our military, and right now we're in a big process of doing that. 700 billion and then 716 billion next year. So we're going to make a decision tonight or very shortly thereafter, and you'll be hearing the decision. But we can't let atrocities like we all witnessed, and you can see that, and it's horrible. We can't let that happen. In our world, we can't let that happen. Especially when we're able to, because of the power of the United States, because of the power of our country, we're able to stop it. I want to thank Ambassador John Bolton for joining us. I think he's going to be a fantastic representative of our team. He's highly respected by everybody in this room. And John, I want to thank you very much. This is going to be a lot of work. Interesting day. He picked today as his first day. So, generals, I think he picked the right day. But certainly you're going to find it very exciting. But you are going to do a fantastic job, and I appreciate you joining us.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you all very much.
Why don't you just fire Mueller? Why don't you just fire Mueller?
Why don't I just fire Mueller?
Fire the guy.
Well, I think it's a disgrace what's going on. We'll see what happens. But I think it's really a sad situation when you look at what happened. And many people have said you should fire him. Again, they found nothing. And in finding nothing, that's a big statement. If you know the person who's in charge of the investigation, you know all about that, Deputy Rosenstein, Rod Rosenstein. He wrote the letter very critical of Comey. One of the things they said, I fired Comey. Well, I turned out to do the right thing, because you look at all of the things that he's done and the lies, and you look at what's gone on at the FBI with the insurance policy and all of the things that happened. turned out I did the right thing. But he signed, as you know, he also signed the FISA warrant. So Rod Rosenstein, who's in charge of this, signed a FISA warrant, and he also signed a letter that was essentially saying to fire James Comey. And he was right about that. He was absolutely right. So we'll see what happens. I think it's disgraceful, and so does a lot of other people. This is a pure and simple witch hunt. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you all. Thanks, Steve. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
We are getting clarity on that. Who was responsible for the weapons attack? We are getting some very good clarity, actually. We have some pretty good answers.
Thanks, everyone.
What are your options?
Thank you. What thanks options? Thank you. Thanks,
We have a lot of
everyone.
options militarily, and we'll be letting you know pretty soon.
Got a target.